Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for the semi-finals of the Dubai Sevens. This one on the women's side of the draw, New Zealand versus Japan. Now, New Zealand are considered as one of the favourites in this competition, the Japanese big underdogs for this matchup, but they have had some very strong performances throughout their group stage, so you just wonder whether or not this game could be potentially closer than first anticipated. But looking through at New Zealand's starting lineup, it is Georgia Miller, Stacey Waka, Kelsey Taneri, also Risi Poldi-Lane, who is also the captain for New Zealand, Maya Davis, Mahina Paul, and then Jasmine Felix-Hotham close out the starting side. The last 5 meetings for these two sides have been pretty one-sided in favour of the Kiwis, although in Cape Town in 2024 we did see a 10-point victory for New Zealand, but last time they played about 40 points in favour of the Black Ferns Sevens. In terms of the starting lineup for the Japanese Sevens in this contest, it is Mizutani, also Kajiki is there, Segusa, Yumi Hirano. They have got their captain, Sakurako Yazaki, and then also Tsutsumi and Suda, the last lady. In the starting side, we have got there, it feels like Japan are always the underdogs, even against Wales. Yeah, in this Japanese side, they are well and truly used to being considered as not the favourites in their matches. If this side can do, honestly, anything within 15 points, I think is a massive testament to how well this Japanese Seven side are progressing. Of course, the men are no longer on the circuit. It is just the women's side who are looking to make that impact. But the Black Ferns Sevens, they had that loss to the USA, and from there, I feel like they've just gotten a little bit stronger. It was as if they needed that loss to really wake them up in this competition. They had the win over France to start off the comp, 24 points to 21. They were able to beat Fiji in their last contest, 31 points to the 12. But a good win for the Japanese over the Canadians, 21 points to 19. They did lose to the Australians, 31-7. So either way, I feel like we're going to get to see some sort of either rematch of what we saw in the group stages in the next stage, or it is just going to be that stock standard New Zealand versus Australia one. Are there any games past midnight you're still going to cover? There absolutely are. We need a few of them to be confirmed. Of course, the semi-finals will lead us to know who is in the final, as well as the bronze final too. But yeah, still another, I'd say 6 or 7 games still coming. Why do they misspell sevens? Yet it is pronounced the same. Seems weird. I don't really know. I think it's maybe to make it the same amount of letters as HSBC. I really don't know the exact reasoning behind it. Already the penalty going the way of the Japanese early. That is exactly what they need. They need a lot of possession and they need a lot of tries. In this matchup at currently Japan, they have got themselves the ball in hand. We are on the manual scoreboard today, so hopefully we won't be a mile behind, but going back across to this left-hand side, like I mentioned, they have scored a few tries so far throughout this year, Japan, or at least throughout this Dubai Sevens competition. Georgia Miller making the tackle. Now we're on this one back 40 metres out from the line. Oh, the Japanese side, Hajiki with the skip pass, or Kajiki, I should say, sorry, rather than her. And now going off to the right-hand side. This is a 2-on-1 on the outside. Bit of a rough pass there, losing all momentum for the Japanese. Cutting back inwards, so nice offloading. That's a deliberate knockdown from New Zealand. And this is going to be a yellow card, or it should be, for New Zealand there. But it doesn't look like they're going to be awarded one for it. It is just going to be the knock-on. And without going into detail, are you making a decent return from the sheer amount of work you put into the channel? The basic answer would be no, to be honest. But like I say, like the channel, that's a yellow card, to be honest, and it should have been against the New Zealanders. They would have been down to 6 at the moment out there on the field. But no, we do it for the love of the channel and the love of doing these live streams, not for the money side of things. The money pretty much all goes back into the channel in terms of being able to buy the streaming software, the Sky Sports subscription. Little knock on there from Japan and the breakdown. So scrum feed now for the Kiwis. Thought she knocked it back, but I probably would. Says Studs Race. And also we have got there coming Japan, says Haino there. And come on, win New Zealand, says Kevin. And Lucky Fern says Big Rig in there too. And New Zealand go, says Kevin Laylor there too. New Zealand's last semi-final defeat came in 2024, and that was up against the Australians. There have been some great battles in recent times between New Zealand and Australia, and that is the final that a lot of people are predicting for this competition in Dubai. Now, ball has been fed in. New Zealand with their first real chance with ball in hand. Bit of a loose one, though. Drop ball by Jasmine Felix-Hotham. Picks it back up. Tackled 22 metres out from the line. Japan trying to fight in that breakdown. Not quite able to do so. Across to the right-hand side. A few new faces in this New Zealand side compared to some of the old familiar ones that you would expect to see. No Portia Woodman-Whitcliffe. So Sarah Hirani, she is nowhere to be seen due to pregnancy, and also no... Oh, that's a nice forward pass from New Zealand, maybe, on the outside. No Michaela Blyde either, or Michaela Brake now. A nice stepping from Taneri. Going back across to the right. New Zealand in possession. 35 metres out from their own line at the moment. Reese Poldy Lane looking to pass it back on the inside to Stacey Waka, trying to break the line, but it's good defence from Japan at the moment. Georgia Miller almost sneaks through, but a great tackle made around the bootlaces. Great defence from Japan. There's Jasmine there. Now back across to the right. Big cutout pass to Nettie, and space cutting back in was this should be the first try of the match for the Black Ferns Sevens. Although passing it across, and now it's going to be, is it? Yes, it is the try. That seemed like it took a couple extra seconds for New Zealand to score it, but Mahina Paul manages to get over, and New Zealand now take the lead in this fixture. What we'll do is we add the 5 points. We'll also get that automatic score. Well, that was a long passage of play between these two sides. I'm sure there's already a few tired bodies out there. Got the annual Sky Pass. I don't have to worry about it for another year, says Jasmine. Did you get it with the Black Friday deal as well? Has anyone seen that Scarlets versus Glasgow score? I have not yet, no. I didn't end up seeing that one. I think I saw the end score in the Sharks Connacht. It didn't look too good for the Sharks, but that kick has gone over for New Zealand, making the score 7-0 in the semi-final. We'll get that one updated as well. There we go. And Teneri is very impressive, powerful runner. Would you prefer the Black Ferns from the World Cup? Be currently playing in the Sevens or in the PWR in England? I mean, I think that a lot of people from New Zealand would love to see them in the Sevens setup, but I also do think that it's a great chance to make some money overseas. Like, this is the perfect time. Wonder how long Emma will be banned for. It's a good question. Depends on how serious they consider it being. That's the main one. Whoever wins this, do they go straight to the final? They do indeed, and they will face the winner of Australia versus Fijiana. Now, kick-off here for the Japanese. New Zealand have never lost a cup semi-final in Dubai. They are winning 9 from 9 so far. The Black Ferns, this can make it the 10th. We're able to get the victory here, but Japan back in position. Being forced slightly backwards at the moment. Nice big fend coming in. Japanese numbers on the backs really do blend in at the moment, unfortunately. I believe that was Kajiki, though, playing in that halfback role. Loose ball picked up by Georgia Miller. Offload now. This is another chance for the Black Ferns to be able to bust their way through, but well stolen by Japan in the breakdown. Although they have been penalised again now. Quick tap taken by Georgia Miller. Trying to get through, she does, and that is another try for New Zealand. I didn't see the final score, Haino, but saw it up to the Scarlets being way ahead. Says DJ, and Fiji seem way better at sevens than Union, says Big Rick. Well, you only got to worry about 7 blokes rather than 23, so... No, they are the... Like, that's the thing. People try and say that it's changed, but it hasn't really. Fiji, for me, is still the king of sevens. You know, they are a side that pretty much epitomise that sevens tactic of keep that ball alive, keep on throwing it around and entertain every single person that's in the stadium and watching around the world. Which is why it's so great to see Fijiana actually making it through to the stage. However, the eye gouging, what year are we in? Says John Harris there. Yeah, it's definitely not something that we are used to seeing. Although, to be fair, foul play in 2025 has been absolutely awful in the world of rugby. Like, we've seen alleged testicle grabs, we've seen eye pokes, we've seen punches. Like, I don't know what's happened this year. It just seems like there's a lot more tension between sides nowadays. Like, people just don't like each other. And I don't know whether or not that's because of the fan bases going back and forth constantly and the players starting to get involved in that as well. Kicks to the head, that is true. The donkey kick that we saw attempted. They finished 23-0 in the end to Scarlets. It's a good win for the Scarlets there. Now 25 seconds remaining in this first half. Currently 14-0 in favour of the Kiwis. Once again, they'll be pretty happy with where they sit in this contest as long as they can just keep on slowly wearing down the opposition. Plus, you want to leave a little bit of gas left in the tank for that final. TikTok social media generation, says Big Rig. Yeah, but it's some of the older players as well. It's the guys who were before that social media. But then, like, the fans-wise, like, yeah. I don't think it's ever been such an ugly time to be a rugby fan. When you go on any social media, you always see at least 5 people from each country fighting with each other. Like, there's hardly any positives that get pushed anymore in the world of rugby, which is a massive shame because there are some brilliant games, there's some brilliant sides, and there's some sportsmanship around. A 14-0 at the moment in favour of the Kiwis at halftime in this contest. This is the Black Ferns' best available lineup, or are there injuries? So they're missing a few players compared to what people would call their best side. Now, some of the players who they haven't selected, it is pretty much down to the fact that they weren't available for this match, not due to injury, but due to other commitments. Go the Scarlets, we'll have to watch the replay, says Studs Race. And Fijiana have some cracking players. Nahamu is pure class, says Orlin. And also, we have got, if Georgia Miller had to play in their backline, where would you play her? Or if Georgia Miller had to play on the back line, you probably look at her as an inside centre, I would say. Wouldn't be a bad option. Or maybe on the outside, one of those two. And where can you watch for free? Rugby Pass TV, I believe, do have some of these games. Depending on where you are in the world will depend on your options. It all fell down when Nigel Owens retired, says Big Rig Joe. Yeah, that was probably about the time that we saw social media really kick off, wasn't it? Around that stage. I'd say before, I want to say about 2019. About then was when it started going downhill. Apparently the Whales gut punched Eben beforehand. Yeah, there's a lot of speculation going around, but it also still doesn't give you the right to stick your finger in a bloke's eye. Like, retaliation, but then that's the thing. Jan Hendrik Vessel's got a 9-week ban, and the other guy retaliated and didn't get anything for it, for a punch. And good morning, afternoon, Amish. Just logged off now. I'm still upset about Eben's issue yesterday. If the Blitzbox played today, they managed to get themselves the win in their game up against Great Britain. They will be playing again in about 4 or 5 hours' time. In fact, it is. I don't think anyone would care too much if Eben punched someone back. Thumb of the eye, nope, says Studs Race. Yeah, like he would have actually probably got less of a suspension if he had just decked him and dropped him with an uppercut. More Nigel Owens and less barristers are pretending to be refs, says John. We're getting back underway in this contest. Japan are kicking off from right to left in this matchup. Currently 14-0 in favour of the Black Ferns. They were expected to win this game by around 30 points. Obviously kicked, no, doesn't quite go the 10 metres. In fact, for the Japanese, plenty of height on it, but it just didn't seem to continue going towards the 10-metre line. So upset at Munster for allowing these stupid Stormers to win, says Hayno. You really don't like the Stormers, I've learnt that. Where can we watch for free? Like I mentioned, Rugby Pass TV is your best option if it is available where you are in the world, and also if you don't already have a broadcaster who does have like a subscription service, such as for us in New Zealand, we can't watch on Rugby Pass TV because Sky Sport have got it available now in the hands of Stacey Waka cutting back inwards, actually ran into her teammate, and it is going to be the penalty going the way of Japan. We have to really get something going in the very near future. New Zealand, all smiles. We did see that in the Women's World Cup, and then they went on to lose. Too soon? Probably too soon. They looked pretty good in the first half, I assume that is. And I'll say, yeah, but having your boobs punched is painful, says Jasmine there. And would Georgia get into the Black Ferns midfield ahead of Brunt and Waka? The thing is, though, she plays in the loose forwards, and she does well in the loose forwards. So I don't think they need to make her into a hybrid player. You know, she can just play loose forwards and be completely fine. That's a knock on there from the Japanese Felix Hotham. Getting the change or getting the steal and the breakdown now. Chance out wide. Just having to run it into Nettie, and she will get the try. She did have the assist in just the last try for New Zealand. They'll be more than happy with that one. I think that this game is secured. It was expected to be a relatively comfortable win for the Kiwis, and that is the direction that we're going in at the moment. And where can we watch for free, says Radar Official. Once again, Rugby Pass TV. I don't know whether or not you're listening to me on mute. That might be the case. Maybe you can't hear me at this point in time. But Rugby Pass TV. I can't say it any slower. I could spell it out, but I don't even know if you're listening. That one's going to go. And it has hit the post and bounced away to the side. And we have got there. I go the Kiwis, $2. Couldn't give you any more, sorry. Says Kevin. And there as well. But yeah, it is greatly appreciated. You've been a member for 21 months. That is a long commitment, Kevin. So, yeah, thoroughly impressed by the commitment. Got 19-0. I did add the extra 2 points. Raider, where are you based, says Hayno. And there. And it's a bot. Can you block Raider Official, please? Says all in the game. I don't think he's a bot. I think he's just not listening. Like, people sometimes watch on mute and then wonder why I'm not answering them. But it's because they're on mute. And I'm late, says Ruth. Well, it is better late than never. You can't watch for free in New Zealand, I don't think. Yeah, sadly, New Zealand don't have that free option due to that Sky Sport Now or Sky Sports subscription that is going to be knocked on by the Kiwis as well as by the Japanese. So it is actually the first knock on from Japan. Going to be the scrum feed. You need those signs from the Looney Tunes, Says Big Rig. Semi-final records. New Zealand have played 61. They have won 53. Japan have played in 1, and they have not won a semi-final as of yet. You've got to be stupid to punch Etzbeth, one of the most ferocious humans on the planet, says DJ. That's pretty much what, I did see the player, I'm not even going to say his name because I feel like that's just going to tell people who it was, but the player who Etzbeth was having the scuffle with, if you go on his social media, people are just threatening him now, saying Etzbeth would have beaten you up and he would have, it just seems like it's not helping the case. Pretty much saying he could have done more damage to you. I feel like that's not helping Etzbeth out one bit. But now Stacey Waka moving forward, going off to the right-hand side, finds the hands of Georgia Miller, who is running forward. Offload on the outside. It's going to be another chance to be able to break through for the Black Ferns. Mahina Paul scores it between the posts, and it's another try for the Kiwis. And it's going to be her second try of the semi-final, right between the posts. So a nice, easy conversion for the Black Ferns here. Add that one, 12 minutes into the contest. To be fair, if someone went for my eyes, I'd punch him, says Big Rig. And this might be the most heat gears I've seen in a single team, says Freshman. There's quite a few out there for this Japanese side. And I mentioned about it earlier on. The numbers on their back actually really blend in with the pattern. So I do apologise for not saying too many of the Japanese players' names, but I honestly just can't read them. Maybe it's the colour scheme, but I'm really struggling to see any sort of number. Now, let me see if there is a place. Says, hey, no there. And Fiji says Raiders. So, yeah, I think it is Sky Sport Pacific for people in Fiji. That one's going to be slapped back. Nicely taken, Georgia Miller. Ball is in the hands again. Or Digicel TV. Says, hey, no, is that a paid subscription or a free? I assume that might be a paid one. Nice offload to Mahina Paul. Now skip pass on the outside, waiting for the bounce of the ball with Stacey Waka with the 2 minutes remaining in the half. Another 3 or 4 steps. Offload to Mahina Paul. Is she going to go herself? She wanted the hat trick, but she is going to be dragged down 2 metres short, getting into the breakdown. Poldy Lane, one more pass out wide for New Zealand. They will get themselves another try, and it is Caitlin Va'akolo, who recently just made her way onto the park. Has already got herself the try again. Add more points on the board. 31-0 at the moment. This is certainly a one-sided affair. I just have Hamish doing this, and all I can say is I give Hamish 1,000% commitment. Thank you. And also, you see that in UFC social media a lot. This person did a bad thing to me. Oh, yeah. Well, he could have beaten you half to death if he wanted. Says Big Rig. Yeah, it's a bit of a kind of old-school caveman mentality, isn't it? As a 48-year-old grown-up, I genuinely don't get why people has a social media account. Please submit your abuse here. Says Suds Race. You see, I don't really go on Instagram or Facebook that much, other than for lineups. Outside of that, I'm pretty happy on just YouTube. YouTube, you can kind of get away with, avoiding it a little bit. As in not avoiding YouTube, but avoiding the back and forth between fans, because it's a lot harder to put a comment on YouTube than it is on social media. There's a bit more effort that goes into it. Now, another step coming here. I believe that is going to be the Japanese. I want to say number 13 in this case. Now, I actually know that is Ochida. I just said there 4 tries on test debut for that lady, so wouldn't mind one of them in this match. A bit of a diving pass in Japan now, breaking the line. They managed to score one, and tell you what she might do, because she's got around the outside of Va'akolo. One more pass. Japan, they just don't seem to quite have that same pace as the Black Ferns have. That's a deliberate knockdown, and that will be a yellow card for New Zealand. It's actually their second one of the day, but it's Caitlin Va'akolo. I think the result would be much different if the Ferns got a yellow card at the start. Not a massive amount. I think that it still would have been roughly the same, but maybe New Zealand would have taken a little bit longer to get going. Maybe we would have been looking at a 24-0 or something like that, rather than 31. We have there, Twitter is pretty much a cesspool now, which sucks because it's so damn big. What do you think the result would have been? Oh no, I read that one, didn't I? And probably paid this, that's really the only place. I think unless you have a VPN for Rugby Pass TV, says Hayno. Now, on off to, I would say Japan's best bet is to go to the left-hand side here. They've got a lady advantage. for the next 2 minutes of this contest, although they would like to score before then, as we are at the full-time siren just for now. But Japan open space, and it will be a try. And I know that it may not seem like much, but that is a huge one for the Japanese. The crowd enjoying that one too, getting themselves a try in the semi-final. Honoka Shumi does manage to score it. No donuts for Japan, says Yasmin. Where's Renee Holmes? I think she is... She doesn't play a huge amount of sevens, does she? And who's going to be the new Black Ferns head coach? I'm not actually too sure who's going to take on that coaching role. Good evening, you walking tripod. Let's welcome in. Now, normally, your name is now cut as the @ but what was your original name? I'm trying to think, was it Chad? Maybe? That is going to be the end of this game. 31 points to 5. The end score in this contest. What we will do is we will quickly go over to that next live stream, which is Fiji versus Australia, ladies and gents. In fact, I think we're still a little way away from that game, so I actually have time to update that scoreboard and get it all sorted as well. But the end score in this contest, honestly, it's not a bad scoreline for Japan. It's a good one for New Zealand as well, because they've been able to get themselves a decent old run out before heading into that final, only a few hours away. So predictions, how far are Toulouse beating the Sharks by? Says Hano. I think we need to see the lineups first, because are they going to have their Springboks back, the Sharks, or are they going to be missing them? They missed conversion outs, yeah. So 31-5, the end score in this contest between the two teams. I'll go full. Did I put fill time? That's not quite right. I've had an awful time typing recent days. I seem to mess up every single word, which does very much take a lot longer. Now let's go to the All Blacks. So here's Darwin. Of course, the New Zealand men's side going to be in action just around the corner up against Fiji. That is a huge game taking place in around an hour or so's time. We are going to be covering that one on the channel too. But nonetheless, we'll jump over to that next match taking place between Australia and Fiji in the women's semi-final. So I will see you all in the very near future.